Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick video, kind of go over this last deal that I had. It involved a realtor. A lot of people in wholesaling say, stay away from realtors or, don't do deals with realtors. Realtors don't like investors. But in fact, if you can build the right relationship with the realtor, you can both make some money. So this deal that I had, one of my good friends that happens to be a realtor. He runs all my CMAs and everything for me. Being in New Mexico, we're a non-disclosure state, so you gotta sometimes have a realtor run comps for you, especially with PropStream losing sold comps. So he calls me on January 2nd, calls me in the morning, getting ready for church, and he says he's got this house that his buddy sent him that they were looking to list. But he said the house isn't livable. There's a double wide and a single family stick built home on the property. It turns out zoning only allows one, so the double wide wasn't even supposed to be there. The double wide had windows all boarded up. There's dogs and cats and pigs in the yard, trash everywhere. It's a good 1 acre property. We ended up going out to the property, me and my realtor, 2 days later, I believe it was. Go check out the property, kind of go assess the condition. I'll put up some pictures and videos on this video so you guys can see kind of what the condition was with that property. Turns out the grandma owned it and she passed it on to the daughter, and the granddaughter was staying there. The granddaughter just wasn't taking care of it. Grandma was looking to get some money to buy another property because she was staying with family. The grandma's 70 some years old, so after we go out, we look at the property, we talk to the grandma a little bit. We know she wanted to be around 50K. 55K was the first numbers that we had heard. I told her I was going to go home, run some numbers after we looked at everything, kind of run comps, see kind of what it would look like, kind of what it would be. Neither house was really livable, but there was someone staying in one of them in that double wide. After I'm running numbers and everything, I get a message from my realtor saying that they want to be at 45. 45 is still a deal, but I wanted to be at 40. When I had first talked to the grandma there at the property, she was saying that she was about to go pay her taxes on the property, that she needed to pay last year's taxes, and she was a little behind. So I told her, the taxes aren't too much, it won't be an issue, that I'll take care of them. Taxes ended up being about $600. So that wasn't a big thing, wasn't a big issue, taking care of those. So after a little bit of negotiations with the grandma, I said I'd take care of closing costs, I'd take care of the taxes, if she would be willing to come down to 40K, and I would close within 30 days. So she agreed. We ended up going back out to the property again, signed papers, signed the contract. After we had it under contract, actually that same day after I had got under contract, about 20 minutes later, after the grandma and the granddaughter had left, there was some development going on across the street from the property. And I saw a gentleman kind of driving towards my truck, because that's kind of parked on that side of the road. And I just asked him, what's going on with those properties, and said he's selling the lots. He said no, he owns the property. He's going to do 4 $500,000 homes on 2-acre lots, and that was his plan. And he was also buying the 4 acres directly east of this property. And I asked him, well, would you want that property too, the one we just got under contract? And he said, oh no, they'll never sell. And I said, well, I got it under contract right now. I said I'd be looking to get 60K out of it. He said he's got a lot of development going on. He was strapped for cash, so he didn't know if he was going to be able to. He wanted me to carry a note. He wanted to do 25K down and seller finance 30K. Because I told him I wanted 60. He came back at 55. So I told him I'd think about it. Just kind of sending out to some other buyers, kind of seeing what everyone was thinking on it. Not a lot of people want to deal with a double wide. That's not on a permanent foundation out here, because then it's just a vehicle. Sometimes it's tricky to get them on get them permitted for the foundations. So it was just kind of a tough one with that. Also with the zoning, with 2 dwellings being on the property and it's only zoned for 1. So it was a few days later, I had another buyer that I was talking to about it, and he knew the area and he knew his buddy was building some houses there, and he said, well, I don't want to step on his toes if he had already given you an offer. And I said, well, he gave me an offer. We haven't agreed on anything. He's wanting me to carry a note. So he said he was going to go check it out, if the foundation of the house is good, and that it was going to be a good flip, good possibility for a flip for him. He would take it at 55. Turns out the foundation wasn't that great on the property, so he wouldn't be interested in it at 55. I then get a call back from the original buyer that had made the note offer, and he had told me that he will do 50K cash. So we get on the phone, and mind you, my realtor brought me this, and he also wants to do some wholesaling too. So I JV'd it with my realtor. So we both get on a 3-way call. We talked to this buyer. We came up with the number 52.5, and we'll split closing costs. So I said, you know what, that'll work. Still 12.5K assignment fee, minus the taxes, minus the closing costs, or half the closing costs. I'll get to that, how we did that in a minute. Because I paid the taxes on the land and the mobile home, and I paid half the closing costs without coming out of pocket, but they still got paid at closing. So, after we get everything's already sent to title work comes back. Took a little bit longer. We almost lost the deal, or almost had to wait on the deal because of probate. The grandma's late husband was still on title. I thought we were going to lose the deal or have to wait a few months because it was going to go through probate. But it turns out my title lady had just switched companies about 2 months ago. And at the new company, one of her underwriters had a homestead exemption that they would use, that I guess it's in the state law, that as long as it was the primary residence of the deceased and whoever they are married to at the time of the death, and that has been at least 6 months from the death, and that all funeral expenses have been paid, and that there's no federal taxes, anything like that are backed up on it, that they could waive the probate process and just use it as a homestead exemption and be able to sell the property without having to go through probate, which I wasn't aware of. My title lady wasn't aware of until her underwriter brought it up. But which was good for us because that would have been another, 3 months probably, depending how quick we could have gotten it in and out of probate. Before we move on and I show you guys, the HUD, contracts, because I have the purchase agreement with the seller, I have the assignment agreement, JV agreement with my realtor. I also have the closing statement, the HUD, from the title company, and a copy of the pay stub so you guys can see it all. So not only did I make a little over $5,700, my realtor also made a little over $5,700 on a property that we had under contract for $40,000. So a little over $11,000, I think is not bad. From first contact to close, for me, was 46 days. So I think, it's the first deal of the year. It was a little slow start for me, but I'm looking to pick everything up. I think this may be deal number 9 or 10 that I have done. Just started wholesaling a little over a year ago. I started looking for properties beginning of January 2021. Did 7 or 8 deals. I think in January in 2021, and one this year so far. We've got a few others that we're looking to lock up, JV with others. Got some other wholesalers that have some properties under contract that I may have buyers for, so we may JV with those. But yeah, I think it was the deal. We could have lost the deal a couple times. It was definitely a tough property to wholesale, just because there's not many comps that were for the property in the area. The mobile home was a problem, and luckily that the buyer that I had was doing development around there. We probably could have charged him more, probably could have made more on an assignment, but I saw an opportunity to build a new relationship with a local developer. After we had closed, he had given me a call, and he asked me how I found that property and what I do to find properties, because he has some "We Buy Houses" signs up in town, but he uses those personally for flips, and he's looking to pick up more flips in the area, and maybe pick up some land. So I think it'd be a good relationship, a good. I don't get my buyers just to have buyers. I get my buyers to build relationships, because especially when there is a market turn and there's people that you don't have a good relationship with your buyers, and you don't know that they're going to continue on, and you continue to get properties under contract and can't dispo them anywhere. As long as you know what your buyers are doing and you build a good relationship with them, you should be all right and not have to worry about the market flip. Here I have contracts, purchase agreement. I use a 3-page purchase agreement. I don't know if it works for everyone. It works for me. I haven't had any issues with it. Always get your agreements checked out by an attorney. I also have a JV agreement between investor A and investor B. We did a 50-50 split between my realtor and myself. Then we did assignment agreement. It's $40K, $12,500 assignment. I only do, usually $1,000 non-refundable for earnest money for my buyers. I put usually $50 down on my contracts, and I usually don't even put my earnest money. I usually just have my buyer have them assigned pretty quick, so my buyer just goes to the title company and puts that in earnest money, so I don't have to. And then here is the settlement statement, the HUD. I told the seller that I would take care of her taxes, and my buyer only wanted to split the closing costs. So instead of having to come out of pocket almost $1,100 for closing costs and taxes, I just had my title lady take it out of my fee before we JV'd it, and I had my JV partner, my realtor, he agreed with that as well, that was fine. So instead of my buyer bringing, I think it was going to be almost 54,000. Yeah, 54,081 is what he was supposed to bring to closing, but with my title lady reducing my fee by 1,084, he only needed to bring 52,997 to closing. So I was able to help her out with the taxes. I was able to help the buyer out with splitting the closing costs. Built a good relationship. I was able to put some money in my pocket, put some money in my realtor's pocket. We're able to help out the seller so she can go find herself a new property. And my buyer is going to have a property that's not going to be an eyesore, where he's building some nice new development. I'll throw up the videos and the pictures so you guys can kind of see the condition of the property. And any questions, you guys just reach out to me. Hit me up here on Facebook. I always message back. But that's about it. Y'all have a good day.
Bad shit, because I thought it was, but no. Okay, living room, bedroom, bathroom, roof. This might be a